A 110-pound white American Bulldog was returned 3 times. Every family said the same 3 words: too much dog. He sat in Kennel 7 for 419 days while 63 people walked past his cage without once slowing down. Then a 29-year-old single mother signed one piece of paper, even though everyone warned her against it. And what a $38 camera caught inside her living room every single time her 3-year-old daughter started to cry would prove that all 63 of them had been wrong from the very first day. Rachel Doyle was 29 and raising her daughter alone in a small rented house on the edge of Boise, Idaho. She worked long shifts as a home health aide, and each night she came home to the one person who was entirely hers. Maya was 3 years old, the loudest, most fearless little girl on the block, and the only person alive who could make Rachel forget how tired she was. For almost 2 years, it had been just the two of them. Rachel was not looking for a dog. On a gray Saturday in March, she stopped by Ridgeline Animal Rescue to drop off an old crate a coworker wanted donated. In and out in 5 minutes, she told herself, but as she passed the last run, she stopped cold at Kennel 7. A white American Bulldog sat pressed into the corner, 110 pounds of muscle folded up as small as he could make himself, staring at the door like he had stopped believing it would ever open for him. His coat was white with one gray patch over his left eye, and his broad, blocky head carried a weight that made grown men step back. Maya, on her mother's hip, did the opposite. She reached toward the bars and said one word: puppy. The coordinator, Denise, told her the truth. His name is Tank. He is 3 and he has been here 419 days. Tank had been adopted and returned 3 times, 8 days with the first family, 3 weeks with the second, a single night with a third, who left a note that said, "Only too much dog." He has never growled at a soul, Denise said, but he locks onto children and will not look away. And with a breed that looks like this, people panic. Then Tank rose, crossed the kennel, and lowered his enormous head until it was level with Maya's face, and Maya pressed her forehead to the bars to meet him. "I'll take him," Rachel heard herself say. "I still see you're here but haven't subscribed yet." And after 419 days of people walking past Tank without slowing down, that one actually stings. Tap subscribe. Trust me, you need to see what this camera caught. Bringing home a 110 pounds of American Bulldog is not a subtle event. Tank cleared a lamp off the side table with one swing of his tail in the first 10 minutes and claimed the couch as his own without asking. He weighed more than Maya and Rachel put together, ate through nearly 40 pounds of food a month, roughly $200 worth, and pushed the grocery bill up by almost $90. Her mother called it a mistake. Her upstairs neighbor called it a lawsuit waiting to happen. But it was the other thing that frightened Rachel, the exact thing everyone had warned her about. Tank would not take his eyes off Maya. When she played on the floor, Tank watched. When she ate, Tank watched. When she slept, Tank lay 3 feet away and watched the small rise and fall of her chest like it was the most important job he had ever been given. Rachel kept telling herself it was fine. Then, at 2 in the morning on the 3rd night, she woke to find his bed empty and found Tank in the hallway outside Maya's cracked door, chin on his paws, eyes wide open, facing into the dark. It terrified her. Every headline she had ever read about big dogs and small children marched through her mind at once. So Rachel did the only thing a tired single mother on a budget could do. She spent $38 on a small pet camera, clipped it to the bookshelf, aimed it at the middle of the living room, and told herself she was only being careful. She expected to watch Tank pace. She half expected to catch him doing the very thing that would prove all 63 of those people right. What the camera showed her instead, on her first lunch break at work, made her set her sandwich down and simply stare at the screen. It was Maya's afternoon with the sitter, and Maya had started to cry, a normal, tired 3-year-old meltdown over a dropped toy. And the moment the first sob left her, Tank moved. He did not bark, he did not pace. Tank crossed the room, lay down so that his enormous body curved around her like a wall, and rested his heavy head gently in her lap. Then he stayed. He let her bury her wet face in his neck. He let her grab fistfuls of his ears. And slowly, breath by breath, the crying stopped. The sitter said she never once had to get up. Every single time Maya cried over the weeks that followed, the camera showed the same thing in the same order. First, Tank would find her. Then Tank would lower himself to her level. Then Tank would become the one soft, steady thing she could hold on to until the storm passed. He was not fixated on Maya. Tank had quietly appointed himself the one who made sure she was never alone with her tears. Rachel started sleeping through the night for the first time in almost 2 years. She had carried a low, constant hum of worry since the day she became a mother alone. The 3 a.m. what-ifs, the ceiling stared at until dawn. But Tank slept in the hallway between the front door and Maya's room, and the slow, heavy sound of 110 pounds of dog breathing in the dark turned out to be the only thing that had ever quieted her mind. There was one night, about 3 weeks in, when Rachel sank onto the kitchen floor at 11 p.m. after a brutal shift and cried into her hands. She never heard Tank come in. She only felt 110 pounds of warm dog press slowly against her side, exactly the way he did for Maya. Nobody had taught him who needed him. Tank simply knew. If you have ever had an animal hold your life together without ever being asked, you already know exactly what that felt like. By the second month, Tank had a routine, and Rachel had her life back. Tank ate his breakfast only after Maya sat down with hers. He walked her to her bedroom door every night and waited until her breathing went slow and even before he lay across the threshold. For 5 straight months, he did not miss a single night at that door. The neighbors who had crossed the street the first time they saw Tank now waved from their porches, and the retired man next door started saving him the crust off his morning toast. The cheap little camera Rachel had bought out of pure fear had quietly become the thing she looked forward to most on her breaks. She had no idea it was about to be the only reason she got to keep the life she had barely managed to rebuild. By November, Tank had been part of that little family for 8 months. It happened on a Tuesday night. Rachel had gone to bed early after a double shift. A little after 1 a.m., she woke to a sound that turned her blood to ice. Tank barking, not his low, lazy warning. This was sharp, frantic, relentless, and it was coming from Maya's room. Rachel ran down the hall and found Tank throwing his entire 110-pound body against the bedroom door, again and again, trying to force it open. She shoved past him. Maya was in her bed, burning hot to the touch, her small body locked and shaking, her eyes rolled back. She was seizing. Her fever had spiked so fast and so high that her body had simply given out. And Maya, who cried at every scraped knee, had not made a single sound. That was how Tank had known. He knew every one of Maya's cries by heart, and the one time the danger was real, there had been no cry at all. Rachel called 911 with one hand and held her daughter with the other. The paramedics reached the house in 9 minutes. On the way to the hospital, one of them asked how she had woken so fast, from a dead sleep in the dead of night. Rachel told them the truth. My dog would not stop. Maya's temperature had climbed to almost 105 degrees. The doctors brought the fever down, caught the infection driving it early enough to treat it, and kept her 3 days on an IV. A physician told Rachel quietly that with a seizure like that in a child so young, the minutes she had saved were the ones that mattered most. And every one of those minutes had belonged to a dog that 3 families had handed back. Back home, Tank refused to eat a single bite until the day Maya walked through the door again. The same white American Bulldog that 63 people walked past. The same dog the first family called too intense. The same dog the second family said watched their children too closely. The same dog the third family returned after one night with a note that read, "Too much dog." The staring was never a warning. The way Tank curved his body around a crying child was never a threat. The 419 days in Kennel 7 were only practice for the one thing he had been built to do: love a single small person so completely that he would hurl himself at a locked door to reach her. It was never too much dog. It was exactly enough. Denise heard the whole story 2 weeks later and shared it on Ridgeline's page. Within 4 days, the rescue received 31 adoption applications, 11 of them asking specifically about the bully breed dogs that usually waited longest of all. The post was shared more than 4,000 times in 6 days, and messages arrived from 40 states. 3 dogs who each spent over a year in their kennels went home that month. 2 years have passed since that November night. Tank is 5 now, the same age as the little girl he guards. He still takes up the entire couch. Tank still eats his breakfast only after Maya sits down with hers, and every night, without fail, Tank still walks a now 5-year-old Maya to her door, waits for her breathing to slow, and lies down across the threshold, facing the dark, guarding the one person the world once swore he was too dangerous to be near. Some dogs do not need training to protect you. They simply decide that one small human is the entire reason they exist, and then they guard that life with everything they have, long after the world has walked past. Rachel did not rescue Tank. If you ask her, she will tell you without hesitating that it was the other way around. So tell me, was Tank protecting Maya all along, or did Maya finally give him the one person he had spent his whole life waiting to protect? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you have ever taken a chance on a dog the world had already given up on, share their story below.